I think another interesting dynamic is the one with Fisk and his wife. And you get that
Yes.
when he first gets back, and she's like, "I've kept this business running, blah blah blah," and then he's like, "Well, now it's time to do the big thing." And even you have this horrible character in Kingpin, but then he's going to couples therapy. It's like, wait a second, like,
Right. Because he genuinely loves her, but he
yeah,
loves power more. If you're hearing this, we thank you for listening to another episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. We come to you in the middle of March, actually on St. Patrick's Day. So
yeah,
happy St. Patrick's Day to those who claim
right,
Irish as their ancestry and all those people that were drunk this past weekend to celebrate
right.
um, all that good stuff. How's your week been going so
Uh,
far?
so far, so good. Today's been pretty good. The weather's nice compared to this weekend, so that's been good. But yeah, I can't complain. So,
Yeah, same here. The weather is really nice compared to this weekend. I didn't know what
right,
to expect
right,
at all, other than the rain. But we got off pretty well. I know other folks in the country had
yeah.
tornadoes and everything else. So yeah. So as we hop on this week's episode, I'm not watching the current season of The White Lotus. Have you been keeping up with?
I am just an episode behind. I have one more episode to catch up.
Okay,
So, yeah,
so this may not be a spoiler or not, but I think we already knew there was some ancestral
yeah, it's very strange.
things.
Yeah, and it
So I
came
guess,
to a head. Yeah,
yeah, I guess in the latest episode there was a kiss or something that happened now.
yeah, that's what I read. It was between the two brothers, and from episode one, you get this weird kind of relationship between the two of them, and it's really unsettling. The whole family is weird, and they are the two weird parts. So,
Yeah, how is that supportive of the narrative, or is it just part of their
I guess it's part of their
characteristics?
dynamic. I don't know if we've learned enough because you have the older brother who's just like this wannabe alpha male type and kind of hypersexual, and then his young brother who's still trying to figure himself out with all these other things, and then they have a sister who like just doesn't care about the family at all. Not in a bad way. She just does not fit in. But yeah, the two brothers are a little bit too close. But there was one scene I think in episode one or two, and the brothers share a room, and the older brother gets up to go to the bathroom, and he's naked, and the younger brother just watches him. Yeah.
A-
So I'm. What do you say?
As he used the restroom, he just watched
Yeah,
them.
well, he literally gets out of the bed. He's like, okay, well, I need to go masturbate. And then he's about to do that in the bathroom. And like, he forgets to shut the
Oh,
door. So his younger brother's watching him. But there's something, uh, I don't know if it'll come up, but I feel like maybe one of them is like a stepchild or something. I don't know.
so
That's what I thought. So, but
okay.
I
It's
don't
still
know.
very strange. Yeah, I
Right.
don't know
Yeah.
what Mike
It's,
White's doing this season. I haven't been watching. I have someone doing reviews that I've been reading,
mm,
and even his reviews, he's saying like this third season isn't as gripping as the previous
no,
two. It's kind of just
not at all.
recycling the same type of themes and stuff. It hasn't really come with a fresh take
Right.
on the sort of a model for that series. So
And another thing that sets it apart from the other two is that the other two series had really good hosts. You know,
that's
they were
he mentioned that like the other two series had Murray Bartlett's character in the first season and
right.
then the French woman in the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one just doesn't. It's not the same. So yeah, it's very different. Very
Hmm.
different.
And maybe he thought it needed that change being the third season, but maybe it's hurting. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So the White Lotus is on right now, but a host of other shows are about to return. There's been news, especially at HBO or Max. The fourth season of Hacks is already set to go, set to premiere on
Yes.
April 10th. This season we'll see Deborah Vance and her assistant or writer. What's the girl's name in the show?
Uh,
I know the actress's name. I'm losing her name. But they're basically going head to head now as she's her late night writer, but he kind of stabbed her in the back or blackmailed her into the position. So now they're sort of have this distraught relationship.
right. Her name is Ava in the show.
Ava. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hannah Eigenbinder's character. So that should be interesting. We've got right after that, the next Sunday, The Last of Us season 2. Well, just the same week,
Yes.
The Last of Us season 2 arrives on April 13th. That trailer was hella good,
Yeah.
and it allegedly set a new record for HBO Max trailer views with 158 million.
Wow.
So people are anticipating that series. That next weekend, April 22nd, Disney Plus returns with Andor season 2. This would be the final season of the limited series, I guess you could call it. One
Yeah.
of my favorite Star Wars projects of all time. It was just exceptional. Possibly the best TV series, definitely, from the Star Wars universe. If you haven't seen it, it's streaming now on Hulu until the 22nd, and then it's also on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's 9 episodes, I think. It's really good. Like, it's takes place before the events of the Rogue One movie.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're
All right.
following Diego Luna's character before he was in that film and everything that led up to those moments.
Gotcha.
May 8th, it was a big surprise. Peacock's Poker Face finally returns for its second
Yeah, I
season
saw that. Yeah.
after a long hiatus. And the guest cast for that season is crazy.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito. You've got Cynthia Erivo playing like sextuplets or something like that.
Wow.
The cast is just wild for a second season.
It seems like it's been longer. I thought this came out like the beginning of the pandemic, but I guess season 1 was just 2023.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
It definitely feels like it came out long before that.
Right, yeah, way earlier.
Wow. Time is not real, clearly.
No, it definitely does not feel like it lately.
And then finally, season 7 of Black Mirror arrives April 10th, I think. It'll be 6 episodes, and we'll get a sequel episode of USS Callister. So that was the big episode from, I think, 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
That starred Kristen Milioti and the scary guy, Kirsten Dunst's husband.
Yeah. It's something. It's not James.
Jesse Plemons.
Oh, Jesse. I knew it was a J. I knew it was a J.
Yeah. That episode is sort of like a classic episode with those. It's sort of set in like a Star Trek sort of era TV series. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, definitely check it out.
Absolutely.
So that's all coming up within the next month or so. No telling what else is coming up just within the next few days or weeks. But we'll try to be ready to watch it all.
Absolutely.
Right now, we're going to transition to our feature presentation where we're discussing Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again. So this is the sort of like sequel series, quiet kind of revival of the Netflix original, which debuted back in 2015, a full decade ago already.
Yeah.
And it kind of set a new bar for Marvel and comic television with its gritty sort of realism and mature themes. So we've got the first 3 episodes out right now. What did you think of episode 1's cold open? Sort of set the tone for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think it did a good job. I definitely wasn't expecting that, and I like how they portray his power of being able to hear, and how it starts off with him hearing so much, and then it focuses and singles out like that one thing, and you can hear that his friend was in trouble or was having some sort of trouble, and then bam, it just kicks open. But yeah, I thought it was good. That first episode that way of opening it was good.
Yeah, definitely, because as we know, the original plan was not to have sort of like this much of the original cast in the series.
Right.
And then I guess they, kind of listened to fans and the fandom, so they welcomed back Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Woll, who play Karen Page and Foggy Nelson. they brought back the Punisher, played by John Bernthal. They brought back
Yeah.
Bullseye, played by Wilson Bethel, and a few other characters. And to sort of go with the theme of being born again, they surprised viewers with killing off Foggy within the first 10 minutes of
Yeah.
the episode, with which a violent sort of like one take scene with Bullseye, targeting them, and then him and Daredevil going at it.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of split. I think a lot of people were surprised at that and sort of hated that we lost him that soon. But to me, it makes sense as to why the series had to set itself apart from the previous show. Like if we just had all these characters the whole time, it would have just been the same old. I feel
exactly. Yeah.
So we lost Foggy Nelson in the first few 10 minutes, and then of course this loss kind of fractured the relationship he had with Karen, and she moves across the country to San Francisco. Yeah. And Bullseye is sentenced to life in prison. I don't know if we'll see him again or not, but that's where we are kind of a year later after those events. Matt's sort of rebuilding. He's put his vigilanteism to the side. He's no longer Daredevil. He started a new firm with a new character, Kristen McDuffie, who's played by Nikki J. James, I believe her name is. Or Nikki, hold on. I think it's Nikki James. She's also in Severance. Yeah, Nikki M. James plays Kirsten McDuffie. And life is going on from there. And this is when we find out that Wilson Fisk has run and successfully won the mayoral candidacy for New York. And we have two of our main focal characters trying to start these new lives that are sort of opposite of who they really truly are.
Right.
So then we get to episode 2, which sets up everything with Hector Elias' character, aka White Tiger, and his trial. And that role was played by the late what's that guy's name? I should have all this prepared, but I didn't. I thought he would be in the series more. I didn't realize his role was that short.
Yeah, he just died right through. We'll get there, but
yeah. But so that it sets that up. What did you think of episode 2? It was more of a sort of like a calmer.
Yeah, I think so. It was definitely a little bit calmer, giving you a little bit more, I guess, information on the characters a bit more, especially Daredevil. Like I said, I remember watching the first series a little bit, but so this is all kind of somewhat new to me. But in my mind, I kept comparing it to the movie with Ben Affleck, trying to this is this and this is who everyone is. But yeah, so.
Yeah, the actor that was playing White Tiger was Camar De Los Reyes. And we see him be accused of killing a police officer after sort of a fight on the subway station. And it leans more into sort of like the corruption that's going on within law enforcement. They, target witnesses, pressure informants into finding out information or being quiet. And we go to trial. Matt takes his trial on pro bono. And you see sort of like these two dynamics of a man who is present day in his vigilanteism, and then you have Matt who's sort of trying to hide it away, and you see those two perspectives be placed compared to each other. And eventually Matt finds out who this man he was saving was. He has to protect him from police retaliation, and sort of the devil within him sort of gets the better of him in a moment where he was going to lose his life, and he protects himself. Meanwhile, Wilson is trying to figure out his way in this new role. He's got some pressure from the police, of course. The commissioner is set to resign, and he's supposed to take a third of the officers with him because they don't stand with the new mayor. And old habits die hard, where Fisk manipulates him into staying. So that was an interesting dynamic.
I think another interesting dynamic is the one with Fisk and his wife. You get that when he first gets back, and she's like, I kept this business running, blah blah blah, and then he's like, well, now it's time to do the big thing. And even you have this horrible character in Kingpin, but then he's going to couples therapy. And it's like, wait a second, like,
Right, because he genuinely loves her, but he
yeah,
loves power more.
right,
And to
exactly,
have this new power, he has to be completely clean as much as he can. And
yeah,
his return from being shot and just gone is sort of rough for her, especially when everything was going so well with her in
exactly,
the lead. So then we get to episode 3, which is Ayala's trial.
mm-hmm.
I thought the trial scenes were really good, something different for the series.
Yeah,
Good performances, and basically what Matt tries to suppress, which was his identity as White Tiger, turns out to be the thing that sort of wins the jury over. There's
yeah,
firsthand testimony of how he's saved people. Even police officers have come forward with statements on how he's helped them arrest suspects or protect them from suspects. And in the end, he's found not guilty of all 3 counts. He was facing first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and
right,
manslaughter charges. They were really coming for this guy's neck for
yeah,
something that was really an accident. Um, and he's found not guilty. But with that verdict, he gets a target on his back because the police are not going to settle for that. And Fisk finds a way to get the police in his corner. He's against vigilante justice, surprisingly. And he sees a way to sort of grasp this opportunity. And sadly, it's a devastating end to episode 3. Did you see that coming at all?
um, sometimes in shows I feel like you can sense those things, and I felt like in the trial, especially the way the cops were looking at him and stuff like that, I was like, okay, this isn't going to end well for him. I didn't honestly thought he wasn't going to go back out as White Tiger. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't expect that. I thought he's going to be like, okay, that's over. But so in a way, I kind of did. But I guess I didn't expect the killer to be who it was. Was the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, we see White Tiger go out for the night, doing what he said he wanted to do, protect people. And basically a setup as he ascends to help a woman screaming, a mask, a gun, and shoots him in the head dead in the street.
Yeah.
And as he walks toward the screen, the episode ends with the insignia of the Punisher. Now,
Yeah.
all episodes long, we've seen officers with the Punisher tattooed on their wrist, tattooed on their neck, some type of emblem somewhere on their paraphernalia. And we can assume that Frank Castle has killed this man, but I highly doubt that's the case.
Right. Right.
I've seen some videos, I heard some discussions where somewhere in the comics, the police or someone had taken on the Punisher insignia as their own, and it
Yeah.
kind of turns Frank off. And I think that's how we get the Punisher back into the storyline. So they have
Gotcha.
to avenge his name, per se, which is very accurate with police in real life. You've
This is
got
true.
officers who take on symbols or co-op symbols to their own messaging or own motives, usually racist motives, militias within departments, white supremacists
Right.
within departments, and that's kind of, I think, what's happening here pretty plainly.
Right.
So overall, what do you think of these first 3 episodes, and comparing it to the original? What were your thoughts on how it's going so far?
So far, I enjoyed it, especially on Disney. I haven't watched too many shows on Disney, so I didn't know exactly what the show would be able to get away with compared to other networks. But it's good. I think it's telling the story well. There's not any like missing plot holes or anything, at least up to this point. So, uh, and yeah, the characters are being kind of fleshed out in a good way. So I'm really, really interested to see where the whole Kingpin thing goes, if he just completely blows his top at one point. And I feel like that may be coming. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's going well so far too. Only, excuse me, only hiccup I had compared to the original. I think I prefer the practical effects more in the
Yeah.
original series, because as much as we enjoyed in that one shot in the episode 1, it felt kind of too, not green screen, but not, felt a little bit more fantastical as far as
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the shots and everything. It kind of took me a minute to sort of like get into the
Into
show
it,
because
right?
it was just set up kind of differently. But so far, so good. The performances are great. I honestly still think Charlie Cox is really blind. It's amazing how well
Yeah, he's good.
he
Yeah.
portrays that, and he's British, which I did not know.
Wow.
So he's doing double like
Work. Yeah,
identity,
he's.
double work. Of course, Vincent. I always mess up his last name. D'Onofrio is always
Mhm.
excellent. He's a great actor. And I like the supporting cast as well. Michael Gandolfini is good in this role.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how his character will change throughout, if he like stays loyal or becomes like a flunky, or what happens to him in
Yeah.
Fisk's orbit. But yeah, it's good so far. All right, and the other series we've been watching and want to recap is Apple TV's Severance. We are coming upon the season finale this week.
Yeah.
A lot has happened since the first 3
A lot.
episodes.
A lot.
Um, so not to do a whole full recap, but the past 3 episodes have definitely, a lot has happened. Episode
It would have
7, I
been
believe,
7. Yeah.
was Sweet Vitriol, correct? Or did I go
No,
back too
that was the
far?
one. That one has this strange name. It's I can't remember it. It's right there. Hold on. No, I just
Yeah,
lost.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's start there.
Yeah.
Episode 7 was that the one featuring Gemma?
Yeah, that's episode
Okay,
7.
yeah. So episode 6 was the Flash. Wait, now I'm getting confused. Okay, hold on 1 second, because I know. Oh shoot, I know. I'm really getting confused.
Yeah, episode 7 is Chikai Bardo, and then
And that was the flashback episode. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, episode 7 was you caught what you just said,
yeah,
and it gave us a flashback of how Mark and Gemma met and
hmm
her present day, um, I guess, environment, like her
right,
present
yeah,
day existence. Seeing her go through these multiple tests,
yeah,
we discovered that there are people monitoring the MDR that look like different versions of those people, basically.
yeah,
We meet this man that goes to the exports hall where Gemma is being tested, and he has some weird love for her. We learned that ultimately Mark and Gemma's relationship became strained through the pregnancy journey, losing a
yeah,
child, and she just happened to die. And that's where Mark saw, the severed floor to grieve that. Incredible episode shot
yeah,
by a first-time film director who was a cinematographer. You could tell the film influence. One of the best episodes of the year for
yeah.
television in general.
No, I hadn't seen people talk about episode television like that since probably the only one I can think of was whatchamacallit was like San Junipero, where like on Twitter and on everything, people were making cuts of it and this
Yeah,
and that, and it was very good.
yeah. And then episode 8 was like the shortest episode of the
Hmm
series, I think. Sweet Vitriol would focus on Harmony's background. We learned that she literally was like a child laborer who was sort of
Yeah,
groomed for Severance work. Um, and we learned that the actual procedure of Severance was
idea. Yeah,
her idea, her creation, and James Egan sort of took credit for it. So that's why she's so possessive of that position. And I think she's finally turned the tide
yeah.
against
Seems like it. It
Lumen.
seems like it. Yeah,
Yeah. So at the end of that episode, we see Devin did call her, and she's headed to assist Mark in his reintegration coma or
hmm
whatever, whatnot. So episode 9 is the one we just had, the After Hours. Let me go back to what happened. What the heck? Oh, now I see where I'm at. Hello. Well, I was going to ask, what did you think of episode 8, and where do you think her loyalties lie for
I
Harmony?
I feel like, well, first of all, episode was 8 was I kept seeing things like, oh, it was boring, it was a letdown, but it told us so much needed information. Like, compared to episode 7 and the way episode 7 blew everything out of water, of course it wasn't going to compete with that, but
Right.
we learned, like you said, about her background, about the company more, about why she is so possessive. And no, I thought it was good. But for me, I think, I'm not sure she's taking a side at all. I feel like she's doing it for herself. Not in a
Yeah.
selfish way, but in a kind of like, hey, I was mistreated. This thing is mine. I need to like get
Mm-hmm.
in there. So
Yeah, she doesn't. She's angry with Lumen, but
right,
I feel this is more about her getting the proper accolades that she
right,
deserves. I don't think she wants to take them down per se, but she wants what's rightfully hers. Yeah.
right.
And Devin girl, I don't know. I know she loves her brother, but calling Harmony was still very strange because you don't know
Yeah,
what to expect. Um, and in the same token, as we come to episode 9, where do you think Seth's loyalties lie, Mr. Milchick? Because he's sort
I
of
yeah.
realizing management is
He's
not it's not what it's cracked up to be.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he obviously is loyal to Lubin, but he's starting to have some cracks and kind of doing some self, I guess, exploration about what this all really means and if Lumen is this bad entity, what does that mean? Because it's such a huge part of who he is. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where he is, kind of in the same way as Harmony. Maybe not exactly against Lumen, but
Right.
starting to question his own loyalty to them. So,
Yeah, because he's had his monthly performance review. It didn't go quite
mm-hmm.
well, and he's getting blamed for a lot of the mishaps
Right.
that are going on. And we see him take those frustrations out on Mr. Drummond. And rightfully so. He said, "I'm in charge of them when they're on the server floor. Once they're outside, they're your
Yeah.
responsibility." So he's coming to terms with like maybe this simulation is not what you want to do. So
Yeah. Exactly.
and then what do you think happens to Dylan and Irving? They both kind of are going
Like away. Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah, like I was not
I,
expecting that at all.
I'm not sure about Dylan, but Irving definitely seems like he was saved by Bert, kind of in a way, kind of like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
get out of here. He kind of put two and two together because Bert, at least from my understanding, was working for Lumen in like a different role. And I don't know. It seems like maybe this will be a new start. I'm not sure what will come of that. Dylan is the one, like you said, is very surprised. Like, okay, wait a second. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Dylan coming to terms with losing his
mm-hmm.
Audi's the relation with his Audi, losing Irving is kind of becoming too much, and in a way, like we said, they're the same person per se. So we're seeing sort of not even reintegration, but just like the qualities of Dylan on the outside affecting the qualities of any Dylan who
Yeah,
seem to be more motivated, more zealous. He's becoming more embittered, and he's resigning from his position
yeah,
because he wants, if he can't have some type of the love, he doesn't want it at all, basically.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So what are your predictions for the season 2 finale, which we learn is 75 minutes long?
Well, that's good to know. I think I don't think any part of the story is really going to wrap up. But what I do think is we're going to get a moment with I can't remember her Innie's name, but Gemma's Innie's name in Mark. There's going to be something where a spark happens, and
Yeah.
also the whole thing that Mark's had done to his head. I think that's going to play another role in this, and um, I don't know. I think it's going to be big, though. I think it'll be very good.
Yeah,
This season's gone quickly.
yeah, it has. I agree. I think Mark and Gemma, aka Miss Casey, will have some type
Mm-hmm.
of interaction. I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
But they'll have some type of interaction. I think Helly and her dad popping up in the severed floor, that was strange.
That was really weird, yeah.
And he said, "You fooled me." I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
Yeah. And that whole thing of him watching her eat those eggs was very odd.
Yeah. And Helly found the map to the export hall. She's trying to memorize it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, this finale is going to be wild. And I know they're already started on season 3. Hopefully that's all they do, because I don't know where else the story can go. Like,
I'm glad I was just about to say that. Like, I know people want things to be fleshed out forever, but I think anything past the season 3 would ruin the show. Kind of like they ended Mr. Robot at the perfect time. Like, anything else would have been like overkill, just too much.
Yeah. So season 2 of Severance finale airs Friday on Apple TV. It always arrives a day early, so you can probably watch it Thursday evening. Make sure you watch it early or on time, because folks are going to spoil it. It's going to be
absolutely
spoiled. That's our feature presentation, and we'll now get into our streams of the week. All right, so keeping up with all those shows, I have happened to watch a few things. It looks like we both watched Paradise. Have we both finished Paradise?
No, I literally am about like 15 minutes in, so I started Paradise.
So you started Paradise. So I won't spoil anything, but it's definitely one of the surprises of the year so far.
Okay.
Sterling K. Brown, of course, is excellent. The cast is excellent. Once you get caught up and finished, we can go do like a full discussion on it, but it is really good. It takes you places you didn't expect, so it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I have not kept up with Yellow Jackets. So what's happening over there in the wilderness?
I am so ready for it to be done. It's they gotta get to the point. That's where I am right now. It's just they need to, what's ever going to happen, let it happen, because they keep bouncing back and forth, and now what's playing a big part is like Ty's whole darkness, because they go to the council and they vote to kill Ben, the coach, because they think he set the cabin on fire and everything. And the one really pushing it is I can't think of her name. The main character, Shayna, is that her name? Shauna, that's it. And then there's this little blonde girl that is like has not said anything for the first season or second season or whatever, and now she's backing Shauna up on everything, and we haven't seen, at least to the point where I haven't seen her as an adult, and that has to be coming. Like that, I think that's going to play a big role. But who's dead? I think Lottie died. She got killed. Yeah, I have to make sure it's right. But it was Lottie, and who was the other one?
In the present or in the past?
In the present, as an adult. They like found her in the alley or something. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and at the same time, there's not enough happening, at least for me. So I'm going to finish it out just to see where it goes. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I haven't watched since episode 3. I just kept forgetting, and yeah. So, but the views have been good. Like, I think the streams went up for it after episode 3, so people are watching.
Yeah,
which is a good sign. AMC's Dark Winds started last Sunday. I had screeners, so I've seen all the way up to episode 6, and it's an 8-episode season. It's really good this season. You have Jenna Elfman joining as an FBI agent. You have Lieutenant Leaphorn and Deputy Chi staying on the reservation, and Bernadette is on Border Patrol now. I really thought we were going to lose that character since she got a different job, but she's still there. And the season's really good. They're solving a missing child's case, which exposes a larger conspiracy. It's really good. And the premiere episode last week got 2.2 million viewers.
Oh wow! And this is on what is this one?
AMC.
AMC. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, I think seasons 1 and 2 may have been on Netflix for a while with their little deal or whatever. You can stream it on AMC Plus, and then it's already been renewed for season 4.
Oh
So
wow! All
you're
right.
getting a 8 episode season 4. The first 2 seasons were only 6 episodes. Yeah, the series stars Zahn McClarnon, uh, Keoa Gordon, Jessica Matten, and it's produced by Robert Redford and George R. R. Martin. So
Wow.
it's like a low key heavy hitter over there at
Yeah,
AMC.
with those two behind it, absolutely.
Yeah. I watched Netflix's Adolescence,
Hmm.
and this stars Stephen Graham and a newcomer named Owen Moore. It's a 4 episode limited series set in the UK. A young girl is murdered, and a family son is accused of the crime. It really focuses on sort of the current issue of like teen boys being influenced by right wing influencers like Andrew Tate and other sort of incel,
Yeah.
woman hating men, that sort of messaging. It's really good, and every episode is shot in one take. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's very, very good. Only 4 episodes is a quick watch, but excellent performances. So, definitely check that out.
Yeah, Stephen Graham is always good in everything he's in. He's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, he's one of the UK actors I actually remember when I see them. I was like, oh, yeah him.
Yeah.
I forgot to put it with The Pit.
Oh, yeah. I need.
We're on episode. I think we just finished episode 11, so there's 4 episodes left. It's a 15-episode season, but it's good. Like
That's good.
Like the last 3 or 4 episodes have all ended on like cliffhangers, just to get you to the next episode. But it's really good. Okay. So definitely get into it. Just start it whenever you can.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
yeah, and it may have had one of the best episodes as well on television, or multiple times this season. But yeah, this year. So definitely, that's all I've been keeping up with. Basically, been checking out some other screeners that I hope to have done before the show comes out. But yeah, I'm kind of behind on a few shows, more broadcast shows, but
yeah,
that's basically what I've been watching.
The weather gets better, and you can actually go outside again. It gets harder for me to sit down and watch TV because it's like, okay, well, I can actually go do something else. So
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. If nothing else, we thank you for listening to this episode of It's a Triple Life podcast. Next time, we'll be celebrating Women's History Month with films either directed by women or that center on women's stories. So you can check that out on next time with us. But until then, keep on streaming.
Peace.